For this business outcome we're delivering, the client was a reinsurer, global reinsurer, based out of London with operations across the globe. So we've been working with this client on a general business process management automation strategy, and really this use case was the first initial case of a manual activity that really didn't need to be a manual activity. So the background on the problem was monthly collateral calls were coming from clients. The team on the company side would be monitoring an inbox for these collateral calls coming through. They would then execute a series of steps when they recognise the collateral call, including validating the exposure, cross-checking any approvals that were required and asking for the approvals. And then they would generate any payments or stock transfers that would be required off of the back of that. But each of those was done in a manual way.
Well, it slowed them down insofar as that it became a very manually intensive task, and you'd end up with 20 different versions of the same thing, and then trying to collate all of that information into one area became a real headache for them.
So NextWave was mobilised. We've been working with the client for some time to help them build a business case around automation and business process management. We'd evidenced other successes and how we'd leveraged the capabilities of Appian and Alteryx to deliver similar styles of automation. So really they selected us based on our evidence of successful delivery elsewhere and recommendations from the industry.
The outcomes and the successes were essentially it reduced the manual intervention needed by about 95%. In fact, so the only manual tasks that were really taking place after that were the monitoring of the tool itself, making sure that it was doing what it was supposed to do. The reporting function became available for the senior stakeholders. There they could see what was happening there, and generally it just sped everything up. So what was taking them, essentially weeks or months to do, could be brought down to a matter of minutes and days in some cases for the more complicated tasks that they had there. But essentially it was all about time, because time is the enemy of every business. So it massively decreased the amount of time that they had to do manual interventions on things.
There was also benefits from the team that were currently monitoring that inbox. They felt that their actual phrase was this was game changing for them, because not only could they see that this was a piece of manual effort they no longer had to do, they could also see how this could be applied to other processes in a relatively simple rinse and repeat way. It also elevated the priority of automation and business process management on the back of this successful deployment and the feedback from the actual end users.
What had taken them literally in some cases weeks to do, we got it down to minutes.